All right, question 13. We have some stocks. We have a table with some data, percent of return for cyclical and industrial. It tells us some of the makeup of each of those stocks. I'm going to complete part A through C. We got 8 parts. So A wants us to do a frequency histogram, lower class limit of -50, class width of 10. Want to know which one have more dispersion. And then we're going to do the histogram for the cyclical stocks. So we're going to open this table. We're going to do this in StatCrunch to create the table. We're going to go to graph, histogram. We want cyclical. We want to start at -50. We want the class width to be 10. I'm going to tell it to build it, and just one more time, click cyclical, click OK, and compute. So we get this table. I'm trying to minimize this a little bit. Alright, so we're going to use this image to compare these. So starting at -50, there's a little bit of a gap. Looks like A might be the best shape. That one starts bumped right up against 50. This one has a much larger gap. We only have a gap of 10. They're counted by tens. And the gap here is too big from 50 to where we start. But the shape looks about right. So A is going to probably be the best. All right, we're going to draw the relative frequency histogram for industrial stocks. So first we did cyclical, now we're going to do industrial. So I'm going to come here again. I'm going to close that one. I'm going to go graph, histogram. This time we're going to do industrial. The same measurements, 10 and 50. We're going to go build and industrial. Compute. So here's our industrial graph. This one is right on 50, starts at 50. Looks like D gives us the best shape. Alright, the sectors above appear to have more dispersion, so which one seems more spread out? Based on those two graphs, this one starts at 50 and goes all the way as close to 130, and this one is like between 40 and much smaller. So the industrial one looks like it has more dispersion. Alright, so now we want to calculate the mean and median for cyclical. So again, I'm going to go back to the data, and I'm going to copy it in Excel. This time I like Excel spits out the formulas. So I'm going to open this in Excel. We're going to find the mean and the median of both. So I'm going to go to data, no formulas, statistical. We're going to find the average. And we're going to go, starting here, we're going to drag it all the way down. Alright, so it gives me that average. And I can just click the corner box and drag it across. This will give me the average of that column. So let's say mean and dust, and this will be mean of cyclical. Alright, so below it, let's do the median. So these have 90 values, which is even. So divided by 2, I'm going to sort these first. sort them. So both columns sorted. So since it starts on 2, we'll go one more. So half of 95 is 45, but you go one more. So 46 and 47 observations. So these two. We're going to add those two and divide by 2 to get the median. So 46 and 47. 2.64 plus 3.88. I'm going to divide by 2. 3.26. And we can actually put a formula in here and say, confirm it. If you put equals under parentheses, I'm going to click those two values. 46 plus 47. You can see that populating there. I'm going to close parentheses and I'm going to go divide it by 2. And so doing that, I can just drag this corner across and get the median of the other one. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to take 46 and 47 and divide by 2. So that's the neat thing about Excel. You can do them both at the same time. Okay, so now that we have those values, the cyclical, which was the first one we had, we're going to go to 3 decimal places, so 6.704. And the median, 3.26. Part B, calculate the mean and median for industrial sector. So we've already done that right there. 14.664. And then the median, 19.56. Uh-oh. Let's double check. My numbers. Oh, these aren't sorted. Okay. These are not in exact order. This column, I'm going to sort just that section. Okay. That should give me a different, there we go. So when I sorted it, I thought it expanded, but these weren't sorted in order. So actual median 9.595. All right, now we want to know the blank sector has a higher mean and the blank sector has a higher median. So higher mean is industrial and median is also industrial. And then part C, determine the standard deviation, rate of return. So go back to Excel, I'm going to do standard deviation. Go to formulas, more functions, statistical, and so I'm assuming we want sample standard deviation. Doesn't say. Well, let's compute them both. Normally they say, so let's do them both just to be careful. And then we'll just have to try each of them. So first, I'm going to go with the population standard deviation. me the population standard deviation, and then the population standard deviation, and right below that I'm going to do the sample. Just click and drag it. Pretty close. Both those sample and population are pretty close. Determine the standard deviation rate of return sector. Typically pays higher. It doesn't say specifically, around 3 decimal places. Okay. So let's do sample. That's normally what we want. Sample, we're going to do 18.932 for cyclical. And then for standard deviation for industrial, 24.037. Okay, they want the sample. That's the norm. Okay, so the investor pays blank. The investor blank is paying. The investor is or is not paying for a higher rate of return, or the sector with the higher median rate of return. So higher median was industrial, and comparing these risks, he's paying higher, so is paying a higher rate of return for the rate with a higher median.